Very good to be out and about and some sense of normalcy that we're all experiencing. So good afternoon. I think as I was thinking of opening remarks and what the past year has shown us is the value of small businesses in our community. And when our small businesses were closed down a year ago, slightly over a year ago, Wilson closed down. And I think it's imperative that we look back upon the last 12 months and just recommit ourselves to shopping locally, supporting our small businesses in Wilson. When they thrive, we thrive as a community. And on behalf of BB&T, Now Truist, and all of our sponsors that are here today, I just want to say thank you to all the small businesses who make Wilson tick, and honoring Dean's Farm, and thank you guys for what you do in the community each and every day. So we appreciate all the value that you bring to Wilson and the surrounding communities, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. Well said. I'm going to ask Dr. Simpson to join me back up here momentarily. So last year we began a tradition here at the Chamber to not only recognize our small business leaders of the year, but also recognize that there are many across our small business community who contribute meaningfully both to the fabric of our small business community, to our economy, but also to the individual businesses where they work. So we wanted to give our members an opportunity to recognize those employees who go above and beyond in service to their business, but also in service to our community. So we introduced last year our Small Business Awards, and this year we're pleased to recognize 3 folks from small businesses in our community who are being recognized by their businesses today. So what I want to do is I'm going to call them individually and have them come up here with our chair. And if there is somebody who has nominated them, who joined them today, if they would come up here as well, we will give you a round of applause and take a photo and just thank you for the service that you make to our community and to our small businesses. So the first award that we're going to give today is our Service Excellence Award. And this is for employees who have demonstrated exemplary service to customers, clients, or other outside stakeholders. And we have today one person that we're going to recognize with the Service Excellence Award. And I want to introduce Thomas Johnson with Meter Construction. You're in it too. Yep.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the next category of award that we have is our Leadership Excellence Award, and this is for employees who have demonstrated leadership by inspiring their coworkers to action. Actually, we have 2 honorees that we're going to recognize with Leadership Excellence Awards today. The first is Ms. Tanaya Bridgers with Venus Beauty Station. While Tanaya is getting her photo taken, let me just tell you that we're recognizing employees in 2 categories today, but we actually have 5 categories that small businesses are eligible to be awarded for. The ones that we're not recognizing today are the Administrative Excellence Award, and that's for administrative professionals whose duties inside the workplace have elevated the productivity of their peers. The Sales Achievement Award, which is for employees who have met or exceeded significant sales benchmarks or goals set by their company or industry. And then the third that we're not recognizing today is our Loyalty and Commitment Award, and that's for employees who either through longevity or perseverance have demonstrated loyalty to their employer over an extended period of time. So for those of you who have employees that fit with any of those categories, please consider nominating them next year. We'd love to recognize them and to lift them up and to celebrate everyone who contributes to our small business community. Our final Small Business Award today is also a Leadership Excellence Award, and that goes to Brody Heath with Professional Drug Screening Services. Brody, I think you have a secret guest that is going to be surprising you during your photo today. Or were you expecting this person?
Oh, come on. Look at that.
Let's have a round of applause for all of our honorees. Thank you, man. Before I introduce Pender, let me also introduce Trey Lewis and Betty Jo Shepard, if you two would stand, please. Trey and Betty Jo represent our Senate delegation, Senator Tillis and Senator Burr, and just want to let you know, Courtney and James, as you guys come up here to receive your award, you also have some letters of commendation from both senators today, recognizing your contributions and achievements to our small business community. Every year, the Chamber's Executive Committee, which consists of the officers of our board of directors, gets together as a nominating committee, and we consider various nominees that we should think about who are deserving of our Small Business Leader of the Year award. And every year, without exception, including this year, it's always a tough decision. The reason for that is because Wilson is made up of so many small businesses that contribute something to this community that really makes it unique. So every year, we toss out names that are totally deserving of this award. This year was especially tough because we had to think back to those businesses that have really endured some difficult times and some difficult circumstances. And in thinking about that, we thought about all the various pressures that impact each one of our businesses. And if you think back to the very first time, the very first onset of the pandemic, there was issues about supply chain, particularly when it comes to food. And that was a pretty scary time. It remains a scary time, but I think as a country and as a community, we've persevered and we've endured through that. But it also made us consider just how valuable our agriculture community is to Wilson, and how important of a role they play both to our economy, but just to the overall identity of Wilson and part of what makes Wilson great. So that played considerably into our decision making. And then as you kind of go throughout the year and you see what businesses are doing and how they're adapting to a phrase that we've all come to hate, which is the new normal, you see that businesses are getting creative and they're doing different things to really help lift each other up and help support one another. And Dean's Farm was no exception to that. In fact, they were the exemplar of what that means. You can follow Courtney on Facebook and you can see all the different local businesses that they have highlighted throughout the year. And I know that has made a difference to those businesses, and it has made a difference to our community. And every year, when we make that selection, and ultimately we landed on James and Courtney and Dean's Farm to highlight and to showcase today. And every year we invite our honorees to let us know who they want to introduce them for this honor. And I can't say it was a terrible surprise, but I was really pleased to hear that Pender Sharp was going to be the one to introduce them today, because Pender was really the one who informed a lot of the business leaders in this community about the supply chain disruptions and continues to be an advocate and the voice of our agriculture community here in Wilson. So apart from being an expert in the agriculture community and certainly a contributor to this business community, he's also a family member and also somebody who is a friend to many of us here. So I am pleased to introduce the person who's going to be introducing our honorees today, Mr. Pender Sharp.
Thank you, Brian, and to you and your staff at the Chamber, thank you for the work that you and your wonderful people do, and for your emphasis on small business, which is the backbone of our economy, as you mentioned, and we all know. And to each of the sponsors here today, these type of events couldn't happen without you and your involvement, and it's so important that your presence is here today. Alan Corbett was picking on me about my tie, and I apologize for that, but it's been a big morning. I was rushing, I was driving a tractor, and I did not have time to change, so I just came like I walked. It's way beyond a privilege for me to have an opportunity to introduce James and Courtney Sharp to you today. The honor of being a dad and having this opportunity is somewhat overwhelming. And as James and Courtney will attest to you, it's not about them, it's about those grandkids. And Allison and Kinsley certainly are the apple of my eye. Sometime if you got a minute, I'll tell you about my children. If you got all day, I'll tell you about my grandkids. But these two girls are quite special. Growing up on their family farm, you might find them competitively riding horses, or at a dance recital, or to play at the Morgan Center, or showing 4-H pigs in a pageant, or modeling, or working the cash register at Dean's Farm, or elbow deep into some fundraiser for a good cause. These young ladies at 11 and 13 really need their private chauffeur to get them everywhere they need to be. One day when James was about 6 years old, trying to find his niche on our family farm, he went to our family garden, picked a watermelon, put it on the back of his four-wheeler, sold it to a neighbor for $5. Now that was pretty good for a $2 watermelon. But that started a spark in James that ultimately ended up into a career. Plus, we never harvested anything else from our garden because James sold it all. From that spark came a business that he named Fresh Pick Produce, a thriving small business that grew and marketed fresh produce. James had acquired land, bought equipment, hired people, and he had over a dozen grocery stores in our community that he was delivering fresh produce to. So every morning, he would harvest today's orders, get them loaded, ready to go for delivery. But he was only 14 years old, so he didn't have a driver's license. So I had to furnish a licensed driver for him to make his deliveries. By the time James was 16, this business, Fresh Pick Produce, had grown to the point that he was recognized by the National Federation of Independent Businesses as the national winner of their Entrepreneur of the Year Award. The first time anyone in agriculture had ever won that Youth Entrepreneur Award. Quite proud of my son, and he was proud to have that opportunity. And Fresh Pick Produce is currently among some of the larger shippers of fresh produce in the United States, shipping hundreds of truckloads of weekly to destinations throughout the eastern United States. And after James graduated from NC State and continued to grow his business, he became a little bit disoriented for a few years. One night our family was hosting a birthday party for a little kid in the family. But you know, as any college kid will do, they'll go anywhere for a free meal. So James showed up to eat a hot dog, and then he took off to go out with some of his friends that night. Well, just a minute, he came back in the door and went over to where the little kids were, and he got a bottle of bubbles. He said, I might need these. Well, that was kind of strange. But anyway, he left, and in a couple of days, we met Courtney. Now, I don't know if it was the bubbles. Maybe if you don't have an A game, you take bubbles. Or maybe the bubbles were an A game. Whatever it was, over the course of the next several years, we acquired the most wonderful daughter-in-law imaginable. Courtney has a lovely personality, fun-loving, creative, and has a deep passion for whatever she aspires. And her degree in teaching would later enhance her ability to showcase Dean's Farm for school groups and summer camps. She has those skills necessary to communicate the message of seed to fork, which is extremely important that we communicate that message. As a complement to the production and wholesale business of fresh pick produce that they had, James and Courtney acquired Dean's Farm Market about 20 years ago. The Dean's family have been pioneers in roadside marketing produce. And all of you know them, but Bruce and Brenda Deans are here today, and back in the 60s when they took that leap of faith to quit growing tobacco that all farmers were growing at the time and put in a roadside stand and start growing produce. You can't imagine the courage it took to do that and the success that they had in doing that for 40 years. They're to be commended for being pioneers in that group. James and Courtney eventually launched from that platform a premier roadside market and agritourism destination. From a vast variety of fruits and vegetables picked from their fields or from neighbors' fields to meals cooked in their own farm kitchen ready to warm and serve your family, Dean's Farm has become an institution throughout eastern North Carolina. Their business model was quite simple: to provide nutritious fruits and vegetables in diverse forms to fit their customers' preference and lifestyle, and to constantly focus on educating kids and the public about agriculture's significance in our life. They also quickly recognized that local small business community had much to offer. By partnering with so many local vendors, Dean's Farm Market is able to provide an abundance of variety of products to their customers while giving opportunities to other small businesses to reach the vast customer base of Dean's Farm. From food trucks to vendors of seasonal decorations to clothing and jewelry, along with Dean's Farm products, customers can feel their every need at one stop. And as we hear so often, a rising tide lifts all boats. James and Courtney are certainly influencing the direction of that tide. It's my honor to introduce James and Courtney Sharp.
Oh wow, it's pretty awesome. So I got to come clean. Once I found out that Daddy was going to introduce us today, I got really nervous. So I had to go visit him. I said, man, look, if you could speak good about us for about 2 minutes, I'll ensure that when you get older, I'll put you in a good rest home. So my threat must have worked. Man, this is an awesome award to be recognized by our peers. It's pretty special. The network of businesses here in Wilson makes us one of the best communities in the state, and you guys really work hard to bring everybody together. Our business is made by our customers. Their support inspires us to drive to provide the best service and the best products we can. As our customers evolve, we strive to make the changes to meet their needs. Our staff, they really deserve all the credit. We've got Miss Dawn here. She manages the market. Our team's awesome. They worked tirelessly through COVID to ensure that our customers were safe, as well as our employees were safe. Just like any other business last year when the stay-at-home order was official, we scrambled to change our business model overnight, and we set up a drive-through service. The staff was right on board and made it happen. It wasn't easy, but it worked. We finally knew it was successful when one of our customers said, hey, this is just as good as a Chick-fil-A drive-through. So thank you, Ms. Dawn, for your hard work there. I also have to give a lot of credit to Courtney. She works tirelessly on our community outreach, from networking with local vendors and business owners to working nonstop on social media. She has allowed this business to thrive in tough times. So again, we are honored for the award, appreciate you guys, and we're happy to serve our community.
And this is not his forte. He does not like to speak in public, so I'm forcing him to do it today. Usually it's me. So I'm thankful for him for coming up and talking. And we appreciate it, you all, for the community.
James, Courtney, congratulations, well deserved. Certainly a model of small business excellence in our community, and we're grateful for all that you do. I want to recognize now Justin Keene with Southern Bank to give us an update on what we have coming up for the rest of Small Business Month. Justin.
I apologize. Unfortunately, TBD cannot be here today, so I will do the best I can. There's a lot that we learned over the last year. I think, and I'd like to say thank you, first of all, to all the small businesses, not just for that participated in this month, but that make Wilson what it is. I think some of the things we learned over the last year was if you can successfully complete a PPP application or forgiveness loan, then you can do just about anything. It's kind of amazing that any business can become a child care facility overnight. And just how much we took for granted things like being able to go to dinner after work or on a Saturday. So it's nice to see all that stuff coming back. Looking forward to the next year, and hopefully everything's getting back to normal. And now I'm going to tell you about what's going on the rest of the month for the chamber. Thursday, May 13th, we have Small Business Industry Tour at Peak Diamond. That's at 11 a.m. and lunch will be provided. Thursday, May 20th, we have a Small Business Industry Tour at Construct, Inc. at 11 a.m. and lunch will also be provided. Tuesday, May 25th, we have a ribbon cutting rodeo, which will begin at 10 a.m. and there will be 7 cuttings every hour on the hour, and the chamber will be giving out additional information as to where those will be. And then finally, Thursday, June 3rd, we'll have Chamber Night at the Tops, and chamber members can receive $2 tickets by contacting the Tops ticket office. Any questions? I'm sure Ryan can answer the rest. Thank you.
And Justin, I don't care what Matt says, you are an upgrade over TBD. Finally, let me recognize Todd Anderson with Select Banking Trust. He's actually wearing 2 hats today. He's the chair-elect of our board of directors and also one of our sponsors, Todd.
Can't believe I got applause walking up here. A lot of change over the last year. How many of you got one of these? A mask. Raise your hand, come on. In my 38 years of banking, if I saw somebody walking in, I'd have my hands up or I'd be laying flat on the floor. Anyway, a lot of changes, but we have persevered. The small business community in this town is incredible. We have almost 500 members, and we're going to look for 500 more if we can get them. We come together. We come together in times of need. And we all know that over the last year, and as Justin said, PPP, there's a lot of folks that would not be in business today if it wasn't for PPP. And we've all stepped up together and made Wilson what it is today. And I've got some folks to thank that have helped doing this. Obviously, the Chamber Board of Directors and our members, especially our small business members that we just talked about. Our government partners and elected officials, including our representatives from the office of Senator Burr and Senator Tillis, and they're back here today. Healthcare partners, including Wilson Medical Center, Wilson County Health Department, and Carolina Family Health Center. Our education partners, including Wilson County Schools, Wilson Community College, and Barton College. Also, the nonprofits, including Wilson Education Partnership and Wilson Forward. And our community development partners, including Wilson Economic Development and Wilson Downtown Development. Please join me in giving them a round of applause as well, because if it wasn't for them, obviously we all wouldn't be here right now.
Thank you, Todd. You forgot your mask. Hopefully next year, none of that will be necessary. So again, my thank you to our sponsors, and congratulations again to James and Courtney, and to our Small Business Award honorees today. Thank you all for what you do. Continue to support local. They need it now more than ever, and we stand adjourned. Thank you guys. Have a good afternoon.